I used to make YouTube videos. I'm clearly painting some big stuff. Got a spring collection lined up.
Colors with Carly.
Welcome to a show that I like to call Colors with Carly. This is an ongoing segment in my own head that actually I would just love to bring live. I actually want to make these to be able to look back on because once upon a time I used to make YouTube videos. I think I made like a dozen. I was kind of starting the transition to full-time artist, and it took me a while to make that transition, and I've cut them up because I think that they're just like freaking adorable. You can watch some kind of vlog thing. My favorite is this vlog I made of me traveling from where I lived in Northern Ontario on Manitoulin Island all the way out to the West Coast to do an artist residency, and really shitty like time lapses while I'm driving, taking the ferries. That residency was like such a magical experience, so it was cool to like reliving it. Okay, this week's YouTube. I don't really know. I'm sitting on some content. What I would like to show you is some of the current painting that I've done.
What did I paint this week? Killing myself laughing over that intro. Am I gonna keep it? I mean, like, we'll see. Anyway, this is art that I've painted over the last couple weeks. I did a bit of a shop update recently and just posted them live. So yeah, a couple of these are snapped up, but the rest are still available.
Even the business side of things, bringing products to life, improvements on current products. I'm going to be revamping some things in the next bit, and I'd love to share that whole process.
We all know it when we see it. It's time for product placement. Hi and welcome. If you didn't know, I have puzzles with my art on them. I currently have 4, and I personally have done all of the puzzles. This is the 4th one though for me that I'm doing. I thought that I was saving the hardest one for last. And I think it would be the hardest one for people who don't know the painting like I do. Unfortunately, fortunately, I don't know, because I painted it, and then as well, because I went through it on a very like microscopic scale in Photoshop to create the print. I just know every like square millimeter of this piece, not even square inch of this piece. So for me, this puzzle actually took about 11 hours total. By far the fastest puzzle for me. Maybe I was like a bit practiced up with the first 3. But yeah, I had a friend say this specific one took him 8 days, and he's like a puzzler. He's into puzzles. So would I recommend this as the hardest one? Yeah, I mean, I honestly still would. I think my knowledge just kind of gave me a leg up on it. But yeah, if you want to give it a go, it is available in my shop. I have a couple more left before I do a whole product update.
I think it's really easy to get caught up and be like, oh, how do I post on social media in a way that people will like it and it's for them and all this stuff, right? Like, it's like very performative. At the end of the day, I get like 4 views on my long form videos currently. So even though we just hit a amazing milestone of 500 YouTube subscribers, pretty much I can't believe it, but it's because of shorts. And I've already been posting a lot on TikTok, so basically we kind of just recycle those over to YouTube Shorts. But I am happy to make long form videos for me, for the people who want to see the behind the scenes. Often I think about like, oh, what will so-and-so think or this person think? And I try just block them out of my brain and pray that they don't watch. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. We're on a floating rock that like no one gives a fuck. No one cares about you more than you care about you. I would love to feature like a painting process each YouTube video.
Now it's time for Little Magic on Screen. With today's painting, I am actually doing a bit of a study for a much larger painting that I want to do of this photo. So basically, I do these studies so I can test out if the composition is going to translate well to a larger canvas or wood panel, and it just kind of yeah, I make my judgments based on how the little study turns out. So I usually start, especially with these small ones, by mixing a bunch of colors. And I didn't even scrape my full palette, mostly because I didn't want to spend the time doing that. Every once in a while, though, you have to like give it a good scrape down, get all of the crapola off of it. Um, Once I, mix all the paint and kind of get my colors, like, yeah, I might mix some along the way, but I'm kind of just getting the base ones down with this. So the photo I'm going to be painting, I actually took while on my first overnight backpacking hike, I guess. I think it was the fall of 2020 that we went, and this is around Jasper area. So yeah, it was fall. Like there wasn't crazy fantastic photos, and it wasn't quite larch season, which everyone just goes nuts over here. But I did get some good photos, and what I'm really excited for is so with this, I'm testing out the layout and the composition and kind of each of those elements, with the sky. Is it interesting enough? And is there room to make it interesting enough? The same thing will kind of go with the mountains and the trees as I experiment with some different ways to treat them. And I think like the composition of the piece gives really good depth, but you'll see as I kind of play with that, it really is about composition with these small paintings, because ultimately with the big one, and I have started it now, it's on a giant, oh gosh, it's 4 feet by 5 feet. It's a big wood panel, and I'm not playing with composition like I've, done these studies to figure it out, but I am playing with some different textures and different ways of applying the paint and kind of letting it be a bit more painterly. I think a really cool way this will show through is in the water. So basically in this scene, and you'll see, later on in this scene, the sky and the mountains and the trees that are on the mountains, that sort of thing, they reflect into the water. And it's kind of hard to like have a fun reflection with this tiny of painting, because this painting is like 3 inches by 4 inches. But with the big one, there's a lot more room to play with some interesting movement of the paint and the pigment, and how it kind of lays on the wood panel when it's put on and washes, and creating a sort of like reflective, layered element. Because in the original photo, well, you won't be able to see it because I don't really paint it into it, but in the original photo, there's both the reflection on the water, and then there's the things that are underneath the water, like logs and even a bit of a dock that is kind of sinking into it. And it's got these really rich blues and purples. So I'm going to be playing with that in this big painting, to try and, yeah, like have fun with it, I guess. Yeah, so you can see here in the left side, basically, okay, I remember when I filmed this, my phone was like, you have no more room to film, over and over and over again. And so finally, like I emptied a bunch of stuff off, but I can't just like sit here and not paint. So I'll do one and play through it, and then I'll do the other one, and kind of riff off of what I was doing with the other one and make some slight changes along the way. I think often people will question, like, why would I do 2 of these at once? But it just allows me, especially on this scale, to play around with treating the things different ways. Like the mountains look different, the trees on the mountains look different, and you'll see even these trees that are happening on the side-ish, middle side of the piece, I kind of apply differently in both of them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the big one being more playful. And actually, when we went on this hike and I took these photos, as we were driving there was when I found out my grandma had passed away. And it wasn't like unexpected, I guess, but it was just something that then occupied my mind for the entirety of this hike. And thinking about that, not just the memories, but Also, I don't know, things like our own mortality and what do I want to do with my life. And not that I don't want to paint, but I mean, what kind of painting legacy am I going to leave? And I'm happy that this big painting I'm working on is going to be a bit more experimental and leaning more into the ways that I do want to paint and I do want to share my art. So here is the final two pieces, and they are in my shop.
Is my 10th year showing at Perryville Gallery, which is so cool. So I'll be painting a little shipment of things to send off to them. I'm thinking like less than 10 pieces. And then I'm working on a spring collection for myself. I haven't put out a spring collection in 2 years. I'm excited to bring some new things to the table. As far as what the spring collection is going to contain, TBD. I think it's going to be me going through all the photo references I've ever taken and just pulling from that, revisiting it. I feel like that's what I'm going through as a person, as an artist, kind of like closing a chapter on a lot of things. A lot of that has been propelled by me turning 30 this year. We need to drop some of the baggage stuff that we're carrying around. My art is very clearly my art therapy. I'm looking forward to, and also not looking forward to, painting through a bunch of crap. But I know what'll come out the other side is like personal healing and growth. The beautiful work that ideally people will buy.
Now for a segment that gets me the least amount of views on social media. For this first little bit of packing, I am actually packing up some originals. These were commissions for Valentine's Day. So I opened up about a dozen like little spots, little painting spots, and people submitted a photo and some comments about how they wanted it to be painted, and they just happened to fit perfectly in these pink boxes I had left over from doing ornaments at Christmas time. Since then, I've opened up spots for bigger commissions, and basically you can reserve your spot on my website and read a bunch more information about that process, and you reserve, and then we chat all about your ideas, and it is a ton of fun. I've got some wicked sunset ones lined up that I can't wait to share with you.
Ultimately, it's gonna be colorful in the range of what I want to share, colorful in the fact that I like literally just use so much color.
Thanks so much for watching my first ever episode of Colors with Carly. Like and subscribe to keep watching the episodes, and let me know in the comments what you want to see next week.